This week we have four sections. I wanted to take a minute to talk about section 2.1, the frequency distributions, because I feel like there are a couple shortcuts that I can show you in Excel that will make this a little easier. Section 2.2 is broken into two sections, 2.2a and 2.2b. I think those are straightforward, and the 2.3 section is pretty short. But I think the one where you're going to need some help with Excel is section 2.1, the frequency distributions. So the first one I have here, we have a frequency distribution given to us, and we want the relative frequency of the third class. Okay, so I need my third class here. If I start at the top, 1, 2, 3. The frequency is 10, but I'm asked for the relative frequency. Okay, the other part that's making this a little tougher is we want this as a simplified fraction. All right, so I am going to hit this copy button over here, and that is going to copy those data. Now I'm going to go to Excel, and I'm going to paste these data. All right. If you highlight those and click between them, it'll expand them to make sure we can see everything. Okay, so the frequency we were interested in, the third class is 10, but I want the relative frequency. So the first thing I need is the total. So I might add down here total. Okay, and I want to add up these numbers in this column. So the 6 plus the 14 plus 10 plus 6 plus 9. Now you could do that with a handheld calculator, or if I want to do this in Excel, I'm going to type the equal sign to tell Excel that I'm about to enter a formula. All right, and what I want to do is add up everybody. Well, to add up a column or a row, we're going to use sum, S-U-M, open the parentheses. Now I can just highlight the numbers that I would like to add up. I would like to add up all these, and that would be cell C2 through C6. I'm going to close the parentheses and hit enter. So we have a total of 45. So I want 10, my relative frequency would be 10 out of 45. Now here is the tough part. If you haven't thought about fractions in a while, you might not remember how to reduce a fraction. So that's why I wanted to show you Excel here. So if I just type 10 backslash 45, it changes that to October the 45th, which is nonsense. Or no, this is October 1st, 1945. That's not what I want. Okay, so to tell Excel that I want to enter a calculation, I have to first hit the equal sign, and then I can hit 10, the division symbol, or 45, and hit enter. Or another way to get the same result, I would hit equal sign, I select the cell with the 10 in it, divided by, select the cell with the 45 in it. All right, so the default here is to give me my answer as a decimal. Well, that's not what we wanted. We wanted a fraction that is reduced. All right, so if I enter 10 over 45, that's not reduced. So I'm going to right click on my cell here and go to Format Cell. Okay, and over here are all the different types we have. Well, what I want is not general, that's what's selected now. I want a fraction. And Excel reduced that fraction for me. Instead of 10 over 45, it reduced that to 2/9. Now, here's the tricky part. How do I enter 2/9? I come over here to the keypad, choose a fraction, and put 2 over 9. You might not have needed Excel to do that for you, but if you haven't thought about reducing fractions in a while, you might not be able to get from 10 over 45 to 2/9. So the trick here is first hit the equal sign, enter your fraction 10 over 45, and then if I want to switch this decimal to a fraction, I'm going to right click, go to Format Cells, and then I want to choose Fraction. Another type of problem where I found Excel helpful was when I had to come up with the frequency for each class. Now, one way to do this is to get out a sheet of paper and for each number put a little tally mark next to the class as we go through, and then once we get all our tally marks we can find the frequency. A way that might be a little quicker if you have Excel here, I'm going to copy my data and then I'm going to go to Excel and paste it. Now what makes this a little more clunky is that these are not in order for me. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to highlight my data. I'm going to go to my Data tab, and there are two options here: Sort A to Z or Sort Z to A. So this would be ascending versus descending. So I'm going to choose A to Z. All right. Now I think when they're in order, it makes it much easier to count how many would fall in each class. So I need 86 to 87.9. Well, when they're in order, that's not too hard, right? I can just count 1, 2. So that might be helpful for you as well. So I think those are the two types of problems here where Excel is going to help us the most. There are others where you can use Excel, but I think those are the two that are going to save us the most time.